Have you ever wondered why the spider doesn't chase its prey but instead weaves a web and waits? This seemingly simple behavior holds a profound lesson in the art of power. Today we delve into the 8th law from the book, The 48 Laws of Power. Make other people come to you, use bait if necessary. Contrary to what many believe, power doesn't always reside in the pursuit. Rather, it often lies in the art of attraction, pulling others towards you. Just as the spider meticulously crafts its web, the individual seeking power must create an irresistible allure to draw others in. This concept transcends the boundaries of the literal, extending into realms of influence, negotiation, and leadership. The spider's web serves as a metaphor, representing the intricate network of attraction that one must weave to truly command power. It's not about the chase, it's about the lure. Just like the spider, powerful individuals understand the value of crafting a web of attraction. But what makes a web so irresistible to a fly? Delving into the concept of bait in the context of power dynamics, we find that it is the lure, the irresistible attraction that draws one into another's sphere of influence. It's a tool as old as time, used by the cunning and the powerful to control the narrative and bend the will of others. Consider the case of Cleopatra, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt. She didn't just rely on her beauty. Rather, she used her wit, her charm, her knowledge of languages, and her political acumen as bait to attract powerful allies like Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. She understood that the right bait can make even the most powerful men dance to her tune. And then there was the legendary Chinese military strategist, Sun Tzu, the author of The Art of War. He knew the value of deception in warfare. He wrote, "All warfare is based on deception." His bait was often a feigned weakness, a pretense of retreat, which lured his enemies into traps. His victories were not just triumphs of military might, but masterpieces of strategic baiting. In the modern world, we see this law in action in the realms of business and politics. Business tycoons use the bait of lucrative deals to outmaneuver their competitors. Politicians lure voters with promises of change and progress. The bait is always tailored to the desire of the one being influenced, making it near impossible to resist. So what's the takeaway? It's not about deception or manipulation, but understanding the desires and motivations of others. It's about crafting an irresistible appeal that draws them into your sphere, making them willingly give you power. It's about being the spider, not the fly. Remember, power is not just about brute force or aggressive pursuit. It often lies in the art of attraction, in the skillful use of bait to draw others towards you. As the saying goes, you can catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. The right bait can turn the hunter into the hunted. Why not just chase after what you want? Isn't that more straightforward? Well, one might think so, but let's delve into the hidden pitfalls of being the chaser. Imagine this: you're a predator in the wild, relentlessly pursuing your prey. It's a high-stakes game of survival. Every chase demands energy, time, and resources. You're constantly on the move, your focus is locked on the target, and there's no room for error. But what happens if the prey eludes you? You're left exhausted, resources depleted, and with no guarantee of success in the next chase. Now consider this scenario in the context of your pursuits, be it power, influence, or success. The energy expended, the potential for failure, the loss of power. It all adds up, doesn't it? Being the chaser often equates to being reactive rather than proactive. You're always responding to the moves of others, always a step behind. It's a position that lacks control, and in the game of power, control is paramount. Now let's flip the script. Imagine being the one who allures, the one who draws others in. You're no longer the predator burning energy in the chase, but the magnetic force that attracts. So how can you weave your own web of power, you may ask? Well, let's dive into the practical application of the 8th law of power. This law is all about making others come to you, and sometimes using bait if necessary. But how can you apply this to your everyday life? First off, it's important to understand that bait doesn't necessarily mean something tangible. It could be a skill you possess, a unique perspective, or even a captivating personality trait. Your bait is anything that makes you stand out and draws people towards you. Choosing the right bait is crucial. You need to understand what attracts the people around you. What do they value? What do they desire? Once you've figured that out, you can tailor your bait to appeal to these desires. For instance, if you're in a professional environment and you know your colleagues value innovative ideas, that could be your bait. You could regularly share fresh, creative concepts that get people excited and wanting to collaborate with you. Creating a sense of attraction is all about subtly highlighting your bait. You don't want to come across as boastful or desperate for attention. Instead, let your bait speak for itself. In our previous example, instead of constantly talking about your innovative ideas, you could casually bring them up in conversation or incorporate them into your work. Now remember, this isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding human nature and using that knowledge to create mutually beneficial relationships. When you attract others to you, you're not just gaining power. You're creating opportunities for collaboration and connection. A key part of this law is patience. It's important to resist the urge to chase after people or opportunities. Like a spider in its web, you must wait for them to come to you. This might feel uncomfortable, especially if you're used to taking a more proactive approach, but trust in the power of attraction. When you're patient, you give people the chance to notice your bait and become intrigued. You create a sense of mystery and anticipation, which only makes you more attractive. Finally, be adaptable. The world is constantly changing, and so are people's desires and values. Be willing to update your bait and your approach based on these changes. Keep observing, keep learning, and keep adapting. And that, in essence, is how you apply the 8th law of power to your everyday life. Choose the right bait, create a sense of attraction, be patient, and adapt as necessary. Remember, the most powerful web is the one others don't even realize they're caught in. So, as you go about your day, weaving your web of power, bear in mind that subtlety is your greatest ally. The most effective power is the kind that doesn't feel like power at all. It's just the natural result of attraction, patience, and adaptability. To wrap up, let's revisit the key points about the 8th law of power. This law, make other people come to you, use bait if necessary, is a fundamental principle in the game of power dynamics. It's about the power of attraction, the art of making others move towards you rather than you chasing after them. We explored the concept of bait, a critical aspect of this law. The bait can be anything: an idea, an opportunity, a promise of reward, or a strategic advantage. The key is to make the bait irresistible, compelling enough to draw people towards you. It's about understanding what the other party desires and using that to lure them into your sphere of influence. But remember, being the chaser comes with its own risks. When you're the one pursuing, you're operating in someone else's territory, giving them the upper hand. You expose yourself to potential traps and manipulations, losing control of the situation. On the other hand, when others come to you, you're in a position of power. You set the rules, you control the game. We also discussed practical applications of this law. It's not about manipulation, but about strategic positioning. It's about creating value that attracts others, setting the stage where others want to engage with you. It's about being the spider that weaves an enticing web rather than the fly that gets caught in it. So what's the takeaway here? The 8th law of power encourages us to rethink our approach to power dynamics. It challenges us to be strategic, to shift from being the pursuer to the pursued. It prompts us to use attraction as a tool, to leverage the power of bait to draw others towards us. The next time you find yourself in a power dynamic, remember the spider and its web. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with more insights into the laws of power.